So I say that there must be a Siddiq in our life as well. There must be somebody along the line who trusts you so much, who has such confidence in you, that whatever you say, the person is prepared to accept. Is there such a person in your life? I came across such a person in my life. And I'm giving you an example to give you an idea of what I actually mean. I worked in the furniture trade for the longest part of my life besides this. Now in the propagation field, the years outnumber that of the furniture trade, but about 10 to 12 years I worked in the furniture trade. Anyhow, with the simplest furniture, before I started with the propagation work, with the simplest furniture factory, furniture firm here in Alice Street, Durban. And after about a year of wandering around, lecturing in Natal, Transvaal, Cape, one day I returned to the furniture concern, meeting my old friends. And they all wanted to know, gather around me. They are the salesmen with whom I was working. They wanted to know my experiences. So what you doing? What's your achievement? And I started telling them. So I was the case, and I delivered a big lecture there, and I did this, and I did that. And they were all very, very happy to listen to me, telling them about what I was achieving in a little way compared to what we are doing now. Very little, but they were very, very impressed. As soon as I finished that conversation, and I'm looking back, and I find an African gentleman, he was also listening in. This African gentleman, his name was Tatan Pengu, Zulu, Tatan Pengu. See, I had started with this furniture firm at the end of 1939, at the beginning of 40, and I started off as a van driver, driving a van, 1.5-ton van, delivering furniture, and Tatan was with me on the van. Then I got promotion to driving a 3-ton truck, and Tatan Pengu was with me on the truck. And this Tatan Pengu had a fantastic character, wonderful man. He was so obedient, so faithful. Whatever you give him to do, perfect. He perfectly does it. And always at the double. He doesn't drag his feet like most people do. Anything at the double. Anything you can see, Yakosan, whatever you say, Kosan is like the son of a chief. The tribe. He treats you so nicely. That person, you feel happy to work with. Then I got promoted into the shop. I became a dispatch clerk. So he gets promoted into the showroom, arranging furniture. And it carried on. Now, I left the job, doing propagation work, and I found him listening intently at what I was saying. So when I look at him, I says, Tata, I'm delivering the message of Islam all over the country, but I haven't delivered it to you yet. He said, Yakosan, that is true. I says, I must deliver this message to you as well. He said, Yakosan, it should be. I said, and your family as well? He says, Yakosan. Whatever I say, he says, Yakosan. He agrees. Whatever I'm telling him, he is agreeing. So I said, look, Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock, I will pick you up from the furniture shop. You finish at 1, ask your wife and your children to be also there. I'll pick you all up and I'll take you home to Verulam. I lived in Verulam. At that time, I still live in Verulam now. I said, I'll take you to Verulam and we'll have lunch together and you spend the weekend with me. He said, no, So, according to this appointment, Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock, after 1, I go there to the corner of Simplex Furniture Factory on Alice Street and Grey Street corner, and he's waiting there with his wife and 2 sons. So I get into the car, I take them home, we have lunch together, we sit down for a little while, and then say, look, Tata, let us take a walk to the river. There is a Mshoti river, just close by where I was living. So we take a walk down to the river and sit on the river bank. So I'm telling him everything about Islam, the teachings of Islam. Whatever I tell him, he says he agrees. He agrees. He agrees. Everything he agrees. So I tell him, Sister Tan, you agree with everything? He says, yes. I said, why don't you become a Muslim? So look at the Quran. He said, what about your wife and children? They too. He said, yes, sir. So I said, look, I'm conducting classes in the Panchit Madrasa Hall. At that time, every Sunday I was conducting classes, what we call Bible classes, actually teaching the young men how to use the Bible in propagating the faith. So I said, you come over next Sunday with your wife and children, have a nice ghusl, as the Muslims ought to have, I explain every details, come to the hall and I will have you converted. Following Sunday, he was there with his wife and 2 sons. So they accepted Islam. I named one was Rashid and one was Yusuf, and they went to the Panchit Madrasa as Rashid Dida and Yusuf Dida. This young man who is also shooting is yes, Yusuf Dida is my son, but the other young man, also a son of mine, who had devoted to Islam, Rashid and Yusuf were at the Panchit Madrasa hall. So I said, there is this type of a person in our life. The person who has such faith and confidence in you, that if you tell him during noonday, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you tell him that, look, this is evening, this is night, and the fellow can say, yes, I accept, I agree. I know, not so bad, but people must have some faith and confidence in us. If we haven't got it, in our life we have no such persons, no Muslim who has such faith in us, then there is something wrong in us. He says, if my Prophet said so, I believe so. That he had an ascension, he went into the mysteries that Allah Ta'ala showed him in his own presence. If Muhammad said so, it must be so. So the message is that there is a Siddiq in your life. Look for him. Find him and embrace him.